Welcome to the Final Assessment, a podcast about evil. I'm Jean.
I'm Victoria.
Today, Season 2, Episode 3, F is for Fire. We start off with Kristen having some nasty dreams.
Yeah.
She is having some nasty dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kristen is overcome with horniness at this point.
Yeah, I mean, when it started and I was looking at it, I was like, did I hit the wrong button for the wrong show or something? What is going on?
What are we watching? We're watching Kristen's dreams. I like how they do it. There's a few different times where she has these sexual dreams. And it's a combination of these just kind of images across the screen, but they do it this other way where they have it's like a bird's eye view of the bed, and she's laying in the bed, and it's like you see on the floor on either side of the bed the images going. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was like a very cool way to do that.
I mean, I thought it was cool, but I was like, did I hit the wrong button? And it seems like all of her dreams are sexual.
Okay, so we leave Kristen with her nasty dreams. She's handling it bizarrely, but we'll get into it because it will be important to the episode. But in the meantime, David is showing Sister Andrea the sigil map, and she's like, you are not supposed to have that. And he's like, well, they showed it to us. The Italians, I don't think he calls them the Italians, that's what they called them before. The Italians showed it to us, and they wanted us to help with it. And she's like, they didn't leave it with you, though, right? I know that. And, of course, she doesn't say, I told you so, when she finds out that basically they got their copy of the map, and then that's how Leland got his copy. I mean, she somehow does not say, I told you so. I would have. I've been like, this is your fault. The Satan guy, not Satan, whatever he is, the little minor demon, whatever, he's got this map now. Good job. Good job.
Minor demon.
Whatever he is. We get no clarity on what anybody is ever, so it's fine. But Leland makes his little notations, and she figures it out. What it is he changes the alphabet. Every letter is a letter from a different alphabet. It's like there's a Cyril and Greek and Latin or whatever. So there's like different pieces of all these different alphabets.
Yes.
And she is still somehow able to interpret it. But David does explain to her the entire fertility clinic thing with this sigil map. Right?
Yes.
So they're relating each child, each egg that gets corrupted to a different sigil, right?
Yes.
It's interesting because knowing what we know about what they figure out about the sigil map in the fourth season, in the end, I think we'll talk about it then, because going back and watching all the different things that the sigil map kind of mapped onto, and then what it ultimately ends up being, the connection they ultimately end up drawing, I think there's a lot to talk about. The choice for it to map on certain things. But so right now, at first they were like, this is a hierarchy of demons. Okay. That's not true, right? They're not saying that's not true, but they're saying this is also mapping the way that they are attacking these eggs.
Children for the higher demons.
Right. They're corrupting the eggs for the higher demons, right? So it's not just, yes, it's a map of demons, but it's also correlating to a plan of attack, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Sister Andrea goes ahead and decodes it. We meet Matilda, the new case.
Doom, doom, doom.
Matilda's a little girl.
I think they're fostering her, trying to adopt.
Yeah, she's still in contact with her parents, though. But so Matilda's mother is Muslim and her father is Catholic, so this is going to play into some of the dynamics. Apparently, fires are starting around her.
Yes.
Right? She's like, I'm not doing it. They come to find out that her biological mother is currently in jail for starting a fire in Matilda's room, presumably trying to kill her, you know.
Who wants that as a mother? Knowing that your mother started a fire in your room trying to kill you.
Well, we don't know if that's necessarily what happened. So Kristen goes to talk with Matilda, who's clearly been around the system, because as soon as Kristen walks in and introduces herself as a psychologist, Matilda takes out, she's already got a backpack.
She thinks she's being moved because she's bad.
Yeah. She's very clear that Brian and June is the couple's name, that they're not her parents.
Yes.
She knows where her parents are. Her mother, at least, is in jail. It's very funny because Kristen's like, well, can we talk? It's so funny because sometimes, if you ever interacted with psychologists or therapists on a professional level, or seen them in action. Like, Kristen never acts like one. And then here it's like, oh my God, she's doing the stereotypical therapist talk.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because she's like, Matilda, can I ask you some questions? And Matilda's like, fire away. She's like, that was a joke. It was so cute.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
And Kristen's doing this thing like, sometimes the thing that makes me happy is going outside when it's sunny out and I like being in the sun. Do you have anything that makes you feel like that? Matilda's like, you can just ask me the questions. You don't have to do all this.
Yeah, Matilda's been through the system so much she knows the questions because she's like, just ask me what you want to know.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't want to play around.
Right. I mean, Kristen with the parents, she's gentle with Matilda, but she's not fucking around with the parents. She's like, just, yeah. Which is funny because you watch David and Ben are kind of tiptoeing around and Kristen's like, no. They're just telling us what's going on.
But you have to have somebody in a dynamic like that, the situation and the job they do.
Well, yeah, sure, of course. You have to have a good cop and a bad cop. You can't have all three of them be bad cops, But anyway, Matilda denies culpability for the fire. She says it's a man that has been coming into her room since she was little. He has no eyes and fire coming out of his head, and when he gets mad at her, he starts a fire.
Yes.
And Kristen's like,
Denial.
But, so, Matilda does have this little tea set. And Kristen notices right away. She's like, oh, my daughter has that tea set. And that's how she kind of builds a rapport with her. It's like, oh, my daughter's the same age. And she's giving her personal information. And she gets home, and first thing she does is throw away the fucking tea set.
Yeah. I was like, there's nothing wrong with the tea set, girl.
Isn't there, though? So when the girls get home, she's right in the middle of trying to hide this thing in the trash can, and the girls walk in, and they're like, what are you doing, Mom? You're home early, and you're cleaning the house. She's like, I'm just trying to be a better mom. Of course, the girls have to be like, well, what's wrong with Mom? I love Kurt. There's this teddy bear, and he's microwaving it, and I'm like, what is this man doing?
And then he gets it out of the microwave, he puts it on his seat, he sits on it.
That, I was like, I've never seen that. I don't keep up with things like that, but I'm going to do that.
But I never seen the teddy bear
I like the teddy bear idea. Like, throw a whole blanket into the fucking oven for a minute and just...
It's called a heating blanket, though.
I know. But then I always got to remember the cord and shit. I never remember the cord.
Heaven forbid, the cord.
I would like my heating blanket, but anyway, where is it? I know where it is. Okay.
Where'd you put the cord?
Good question. Now it's just a blanket. So anyway, here comes Cheryl. Cheryl's had an appointment, and she's telling Kurt she's been having problems with her daughter, Jasmine.
Yeah.
Jasmine.
What a name.
And she doesn't want him to take notes. I'm like, wonder why she doesn't want him to take notes.
Mm-hmm.
A couple reasons, I'm sure. But she wants some insight on how to get back together with her daughter. And she's talking about daughter and granddaughter. She's basically a single mother because her husband is always out climbing, and she's like social climbing.
Yeah, and, socially.
Yeah. The unnaturalness with which she covered it was like, Kurt, come on, man. A little faster.
Open your eyes. You're a therapist.
Yeah.
Where's your degree come from?
And you're pretty tight with Kristen. I mean, she's not a typical patient,
No.
But anyway, so Kristen, Ben, and David, Brian and Jane called the church specifically because they're like, well, maybe it's psychological and she has behavior issues. But then we saw this thing on the nanny cam footage. This is what made us call the church. This is what made us think she's not really lying, and we might be concerned with an entity here. And this is nanny cam footage. She's in bed. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's talking to nothing. And you can see
her closet door's cracked open.
Which is where she says the man comes from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the closet door's cracked open, and all of a sudden a fire starts in the door.
Yeah.
In the closet. So Ben goes home. He's researching entities that have fire coming out of their head, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's asking his sister about it. And it's some kind of djinn, and no weapon can defeat it. And so she's explaining all this to him, right? And she's like, well, at least, it's better than Catholics and their demons. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm not in the business of defending the Catholic Church. Okay, they got plenty of people doing that. They don't need me. But are demons really any sillier than djinn? I mean...
It's a fairy tale their mother told them.
Right. Well, I don't even know it's a fairy tale or what, but it's just the fact that she's making fun of demons.
Yeah.
she's getting very serious about, I don't think she necessarily believes in the jinn, but she's getting very serious about it and taking it seriously. And throughout the episode, Ben kind of parses the difference between demons and jinns. I'm like, I understand that it's a legitimate difference, as far as the purposes they serve and things like that. I get all that, but his mockery of the church is kind of based on none of it is real and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, if you want to believe that, that's fine, but you're talking about this as if it should be taken seriously while you're making fun of the Catholic belief in demons.
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
He does explain it later as being kind of, I always say they're assholes, but they're my assholes. When I talk about my friends or family or something, I can say it, but you can't. It's that type of thing with him in Islam, right?
Yeah.
So she's explaining this gender, and he and David actually do have a little bit of debate about the jinn versus the demons here, and Catholicism versus Islam. I'm not getting into all this, but it does feel very much, even with David, it feels more of a team sport than a legitimate discussion of beliefs. This is why my thing is not as silly as your thing.
Yeah.
But at Matilda's house, okay, this is what we have discovered. She has chemistry sets, which Ben looked into. There were chlorine tablets from the pool and brake fluid, which I didn't know before this. If you combine the two, it will cause a fire. Not like a poof, like blowing up fire, like a smoldering. It'll start as smoke and then it'll become a fire.
Yeah.
And Tilda sticking by her guns. I didn't do it. And she said the man told her that he wouldn't leave until he has somewhere else to go. And then she grabs Kristen and she starts speaking. Is it Arabic?
Yeah, she's chanting in Arabic.
She's chanting in Arabic, basically saying the fire will burn whoever's close and jump to one of you. I guess one of the three of the investigators. And Christian's like, okay.
Great.
Awesome. This is, why was I sitting right here? I just happened to be sitting here. Oh, yeah, I know, because she was already having problems. But on the way home,
she's got more.
She spots the jinn on a street corner.
She kind of freaks out a little bit.
I would freak out.
I would freak out.
If I saw this 8-foot thing with fire coming out of his head.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh no.
I'd be looking at it and be like, man, that's a nice hat.
I'd be like, sir, I was raised Catholic.
Can't come from
I
me.
can't see you. So Ben is in bed again.
And his
succubus.
Girl devil, I like to call her,
is
back.
His succubus is back. But he's got his phone set up now to voice activate. I guess he should have talked to Kristen about her tricks with the notes on the ceiling. But to activate, so if he wakes up in the morning, if he has this dream or whatever, and he wakes up and there's nothing on the phone, then he'll know. All right? So sure enough, he has the dream. And she's playing on his insecurities about this debate he had earlier with David about Islam versus Catholicism. And she's like, they don't even take you seriously. And
they don't care what your opinions are.
They don't care. Yeah. And then she takes out her retainer.
So gross.
Why does a demon? He's like, why do you have a retainer? Or when he wakes up out of the dream, there's no evidence on the phone of this conversation. It's just him doing the test. So back with Kurt and Cheryl. They're doing some role playing, and she's apologizing to Jasmine, and she's like, well, I know we've both done things wrong. He's like, no, you're immediately putting on our defensive. Don't do that. You need to find like common ground. You need to find like a bridge here.
The children. So she goes to the playground and say, hey, was it Lexus? Lexi.
Yeah. The poor Lexus is always, what is it with
like,
her? It's always Lexus.
Isn't she the oldest too?
No.
She's middle.
I think she's like the second. There's 4 of them. Yeah, she's one of the middle ones. But I
Maybe
think
she's the most mature.
Maybe. Because she calls Lexus over, like, okay. She gets Lexus to say she's going to go homesick. Well, they can't get a hold of Kristen, so they call Cheryl, who is still on the emergency contact list. So Cheryl brings Lexus home. Yeah. So they're at a crossroads with this Matilda case. They're at a sticky point because David has decided it's a demon, so we're going to exorcise it.
Yep.
And Ben's like, wait a minute. No, I did not agree that it was a demon. I think it's a jinn, which means that your Catholic exorcism will not work.
Is there a Muslim exorcism?
There is a Muslim exorcism. It's apparently more detailed than a Catholic exorcism. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to pretend I do. But a lot of Ben's concern is that a jinn is not necessarily like a demon. In Catholic theology, a demon is necessarily a bad entity. It's an evil entity. And according to Ben, I have no personal knowledge of it again, but according to Ben, in Islam, a jinn isn't necessarily good or bad. A bad jinn can do good things. A good jinn can do bad things. It seems almost like anthropomorphic gods, like the Greek gods, where
they were just kind of there.
They were just kind of people that could do stuff that people couldn't do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Ben's saying, if this is a jinn and not a demon, which I'm like, Ben, you don't believe any of it. But if it's a jinn and not a demon, yeah, the Catholic exorcism is geared specifically towards fallen angel entities, so it's not going to do any good. That makes sense. That's fine. I mean, it doesn't jibe necessarily with Ben's worldview as stated up to this point, but it makes sense logically, right? And he's setting up that night again. He's going to set up his camera again.
On the stairs towards his bed.
Yeah. See what you find this time. Okay, Cheryl did this thing with Lexus and managed to worm her way back into the house. And she's telling Kristen about the breakup and apologizing and everything. She's got to admit that Kristen was right about Leland. And she's hugging her. There's no tears there, right? Mm-mm. Okay. I was making sure. I was like, she's got no tears.
Nope.
It's pretty funny. I'll never understand Cheryl. As we were watching more and more, this is my second watch through. So as I'm watching it more, as the episodes go by, I'm like, I was hoping to get more insight into Cheryl this time around.
And you might.
I don't think I will. I think I understand her even less now. Anyway.
And she's like, I want the girls, I want my family.
All right, girl. Kristen, in the meantime, is having more nasty dreams.
Exotic.
She gets all dressed up. And one of the girls comes in and she's like, are you all right? And she's like, yeah, but I got to go somewhere for a minute. You're in church. Yeah, I think probably the girls are old enough to be alone for a little bit, but this seems out of character.
Yes.
And she didn't just run out for a minute. It probably took her a half hour to get ready. She's all dressed. She goes into this bar. She seems like she's way overdressed for this bar. This is like people just go here to have a couple drinks after work and then go home bar. You know, this is not like a picking up things bar. But this guy is interested, and he's got a friend. His name is Colin. He's got a friend named Lance. She keeps calling him Lance, and he's like, I'm Colin. It's very funny.
Yes, it is. He wants to buy her a drink, and she's like, you can buy this one.
Yeah, and he knows her wedding band, and he's like, well, are you divorced or something? She's like, something.
He tells her she's the sexiest woman in there.
There's only one other woman in there, and she is with her partner, maybe a husband or boyfriend or something. So, yes, by default, Kristen is the sexiest woman in there that's available at the moment. He's like, well, let's go. Let's get out of here. She's like, yeah, but I got to go to the bathroom first. And then she sneaks out.
Yeah.
On the way home, she's like, next time, I'm staying.
And then she looks in her rearview mirror.
Well, she feels something on the back of her neck, and then she looks in her rear view. And there's the gin. Firehead.
Riding in the back seat.
I would have pulled the car over and jumped out. Like, take me to the fucking hospital.
Would you have pulled the car over, or would you have crashed the car by accident? Because
I would one way or the other. That car would have come to a stop, and I would have gotten out of it.
Yeah, I can't imagine looking in my rearview mirror and seeing that. That would have flipped me out.
I mean, okay, yes, the scene in the mirror was terrible, but paired with the fact that she had felt it on her neck.
I mean...
Oh, God. I would have checked myself in somewhere. She goes to Kurt the next day, and she's like, I am definitely hallucinating. I was like, you are definitely hallucinating. Like, that's what I'm like. If I'm hallucinating to that extent, like I'm not just seeing things out of the corner of my eyes or something really small, like I can say, well, I'm tired. You gotta check me into a hospital right now.
Yeah, you gotta do something.
Like, this is bad.
This shit can't be real.
But she also tells it, because she's got all this stuff going on, and Andy's still gone, but she did make up with her mother, and everything starts clicking with Kurt.
Yeah, he's like, your mother's name's Cheryl, right?
Did I know that her name was Cheryl? And she's like, probably, I mentioned it before, you know.
And then he's like, is there a Jasmine in your family?
She's like, no.
And it all hits home then.
All hits home. Kirk does his due diligence on social media, and he's like, oh, all right, get Cheryl in here. Gotta have a talk with Cheryl now.
Yep.
So back, we're with the exorcist at Matilda's. We have a Sheik there to perform the Muslim exorcism. And then we have also a priest there to perform the Catholic exorcism, and they're going to throw down.
Yeah, they're talking about, like, grounds of mythology, and
They're calling each other's religions mythology.
and then it's like they're having to remove stuff out of the room because they said it's stuff that can cause a distraction.
That's basically any kind of instrument that the jinn will use to cause distractions, any kind of electronics. All of it actually, like if you buy the first premise, it makes sense to do all this stuff. So they're basically going to do a dual exorcism. The Sheik goes first, and Matilda, whatever wasn't happening to her before, is not there anymore. Whatever is in her now is called Dan. And if we know anything from this show, is that demons have very normal names. Yes. Howard, George, Dan. And it was so funny because as soon as he heard Dan, the Catholic priest is like, oh, this is mine. Like, oh, it's a silly, basic name. Yeah, mine.
It's mine, yeah. Mine. So she's got, Catholic devil, Islam jinn.
Yeah.
So she's got it going on.
Yeah. Well, they had made a point at the beginning of the episode to talk about they were exposing her to both religious practices as a religious practice. So she's got references for both.
Yeah. So, the demon came in first and pulled the jinn in to help. And,
who knows? Yeah.
They're probably working together.
One softened her up and the other was like, hey, look at that.
They're like, hey, if we work together, they can't exorcise us out.
They can because they got one of each of you. And then, Matilda's threatening Kristen. She's like, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Yep.
Everybody is coming for Kristen at this point.
All the time, every day.
She's got jinns and demons and potential witch mothers. Who knows?
Georges. The girls.
Oh my God, those girls.
I mean, they're not demons, but wow, they come home from school and it's just, it's unreal.
Yeah, the girls. That's so funny because this show in general feels like so quiet and so careful and so clean and stuff, and then girls are just screaming.
It's almost distracting because they start screaming. You're like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening? Why are they screaming now?
Yeah. So Kurt goes to Cheryl Carter meeting, and she's like, yeah, I talked to my daughter again. And Kurt calls her out, and she turns on the waterworks, and he's like, all right, look, come back next week. We'll find you a good therapist. We'll figure out what you want in a therapist, and we'll get you there.
And she's like, please don't judge me.
She literally is on her knees.
And he's like, I can't have you as a patient. I'll get you another therapist, but I can't do it.
We've had this awkward moment now with your face in front of my crotch.
You don't know. He might have enjoyed that. It might have not been awkward for him.
Well, that's the problem. He's like, I can't be your therapist now because
if my pants just happen to fall at any given moment, we don't know what you'll do.
I mean, it was wild. It was wild. Anyway, back at the exorcism. Exorcism appears to be successful. Maybe. But Kristen goes home and she's saying goodnight to the girls as she's walking out. She notices something on their desk, and it's the tea set that she had thrown out.
Dum, dum, dum.
For real.
How the hell did they get back in the house?
Yeah, it's weird that the tea set showed up back in the house. I can't remember anything about it after this, but it feels like one of those things where they just kind of put it in there, and it's just...
No answer,
no answer, just here's a weird thing happening.
Oh, here, look, the tea set reappeared just like a Ouija board. Yeah, let's go with it.
Yeah.
Oh, let's now forget it. Never bring it up again.
Never bring it up again.
I mean, I'm going to have to watch for it in other episodes.
I'm going to watch for it now, yeah. I don't remember it ever coming back up, but I could be wrong. Because I'm finding out there's stuff that I forgot or things I remembered happening that did not happen in the next episode especially.
Do we need to get you a therapist?
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, there's things I didn't see the first time I watched it, but the first time we were watching it as it was coming out. Yeah. And there were so many, like, weeks of nothing, and then they pushed
like
an
a whole
episode.
year of nothing.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely, there's things in there that I'm like, I don't remember this.
Yeah. So I don't remember what happens to the tea set. I think this is the last time we see it. So she's getting dressed again for another night out. She's priming the pump with a canned margarita. Priming the pump. She looks out the window as her old hot-headed boyfriend's out there. And she starts popping the medication that Kurt had prescribed to her. And I'm like, okay, if anybody knows this, Kristen, you do, popping those medications and washing them down with your canned margarita is not going to help you.
Yeah.
See, she's blinking and she's looking away, and Jin is just standing there watching her, still not moving, not concerned at all.
Nope.
Why is he just standing there?
He likes her.
I guess so. Thinks she's sexy.
Yeah. Wants her to go do dirty.
Well, every time she gets horny, there's fire somewhere. So anyway, we cut to Matilda, who's just sitting in her front yard. It's trash day, I guess, trash pickup. So the trash cans are on the curb, and she's sitting there in the yard looking at the trash cans, and all of a sudden one of them catches on fire. All right.
Yeah.
A lot of red herrings in this one. Who knows? Who knows? This is truly one, like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I am not sure either. There's a lot of fire going on. There's a lot of talking going on.
And Kristen was getting these nasty, horny dreams before they even started the case.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Don't know what that's all about. Going to the bar, the dressing up, and going out points to the dreams, but...
We already had them setting her up as she's kind of opened herself up to negative influences when she murdered LaRue. That was the whole point with the rosary.
Yeah.
So I guess the heightened horniness or whatever is part of that because it's tempting her to go cheat on her husband.
Yeah.
That's fine, but then they're kind of conflating it when they introduce this Jin and they're associating it with her horny activities and they play the sexy music whenever it's around. It kind of makes you wonder what's actually going on.
Yeah, it does.
It's always that sexy music. I don't even know how to describe it. Okay, it's not like music that actually gets played in strip clubs. It's the kind of music that when they want to denote that you're in a strip club, but they don't want to pay the royalties for like a Kid Rock song or something.
Okay.
It's kind of like an old trope, this particular use of like the drum and this particular rhythm and style of music, using that to denote sexuality, like I said, like a strip club or something. It's the same kind of older trope as they had earlier in the first season when her and Andy were having sex. They cut away from that and it showed the train going through the tunnel. It's that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we're seeing her having all these sexy dreams and then we're having this old-timey strip club music. It's very funny.
It is. It is.
Now the Jin's involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot going on.
She needs to pick her devil. Like, you're either going with a Catholic demon or you're going to go with a Muslim Jin. You can't have both.
You can't have both.
You got enough problems.
Okay, so she's got a Jin now. We haven't seen George in a couple episodes, but she's got a Jin. And
thank God, I didn't really like George.
George is hilarious. And now Ben does not have a Jin. He's got a demon. He's got a female George.
And David's got a nun.
David's got a nun. No, David's just always dreaming about sex and drugs and running really fast. I mean, like,
yeah.
He doesn't need a demon.
He's got his vision.
He's got his own problems, man. Anyway, yeah, weird episode.
It was a weird episode.
I liked it. The whole bar flirting in the bar thing. I like it because it's just a side of Kristen we don't ever see.
Yeah, she really shows her sexuality, which is something she doesn't do, but Cheryl does.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a reversal for a minute.
It is. I think I mentioned this last week when we were talking about it seems like her entire demeanor has changed convincingly. It's not just putting on sexy clothes or doing her makeup or doing the smoky eye or whatever. It's not just that. It's everything about her, the look in her eye, everything is different.
Different, yeah.
You know.
It's like a whole different person just stuck in a Kristen body.
Yeah. Yeah, which obviously makeup and lighting are there too, but this is mostly acting, very successful acting, you know. Very, very successful, I think.
Yeah.
It's a weird episode. I don't dislike it, but it is a weird episode.
It is very weird.
The Matilda thing is weird. I don't know what we're supposed to get from it, you know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
She a little fire starter. Is it the Jin? The Jin's there, but it doesn't actually have anything to do with Matilda.
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't have anything else about this episode.
No.
I am anxious for next week's episode 4.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. So we will be back next week Season 2, Episode 4. And until then, you can check out our other podcasts. Deconstructing the Dark Passenger, which is a podcast about all things Dexter, or Outside Food and Drink, which is our movie podcast. For February, we did My Bloody Valentine, both of them. We did Valentine, and then we did When Harry Met Sally. Going into March, we'll be doing some of our favorite Rob Reiner movies.
Yes.
So check all that out. And aside from that, until next week.
Later.
Later.